Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Let me get myself situated and stuff. Today we're getting real about motherhood. Not the Instagram version or the fake Hallmark version, but the unfiltered truth. I'm a 41-year-old first-time mom to my amazing 16-month-old daughter. And let me tell you, there are some things that no one usually will tell you about this journey. Sometimes we just don't even know to tell people. But this isn't a video about hating kids or motherhood. I actually love being a mom, but it is about being honest about who and who shouldn't take this path. So buckle up for some auntie to niece or auntie to auntie or mom to mom. Real talk about why you should never have a baby unless you're doing it for the right reasons. And could you all share your experiences and thoughts with this down below? I'm talking about people that have children and people who don't. You know I love to hear from my people. Now let's get into it.
Drnina, the girl next door, beautiful brown baby doll.
So we should never have babies because our family pressures us into it. Let's start with the biggest one. The moment I hit 30, a lot of people around me, baby, they was like, when are you ever going to settle down and have a kid? And that interrogation went on at almost every holiday. But here's what I learned. Those people are not going to be up with you at 3 a.m. with a screaming baby. And they're not going to help you pay for childcare that might cost you more than tuition. And baby, they're not going to be there after you haven't showered for a couple of days. What I wish people would say openly, your family's expectations are not your responsibility. I waited until I was 40 to have my baby because that was the right time for me and my husband. Building those boundaries early is essential. And let me tell y'all something real. Some people take for granted what it takes to get a baby here. Once it's here. It's like everybody is pro-life until it's time to discuss what all goes into it. The sleepless nights, the physical toll on your body, the mental load, and sometimes the financial strain. Suddenly they know where to be found. Crickets. That's perfectly fine and all, but some people just need to keep their mouth shut. Especially those who ain't really had great relationships with their own kids. Can I get an amen? If you're not going to be a part of the solution, don't be a part of creating the pressure. Never, ever have a baby to save your relationship or patch it up. If you think a baby will fix your broken relationship, let me be crystal clear. Looky here. A baby will expose every crack in your foundation and create new ones that you never even imagined. Children don't strengthen weak relationships. They stress test strong ones. Having a baby with my husband worked because we had been together a total of 4 years. And by the time she was born, we had been married for a total of 2 years of that 4. We knew how we handled stress together, how we learned to resolve conflicts, and we knew how to support each other through hard times. But now a new human being was in the mix. Keep that in mind. But speaking of supportive relationships and showing up for each other, let's talk about celebrating the important people in our lives. Today's video is sponsored by syndicate.com, and I'm genuinely excited that they decided to sponsor today's video. Look, if you're looking for a unique way to celebrate the moms in your life this Mother's Day, or honestly any occasion worth celebrating, these gifts are next level for anyone in your life. I received their rose bubble box, and I just knew they couldn't outdo the last box they sent me, y'all, but they did. I was even more excited because I had shared with you all and experienced one of their boxes before. The elegant box lights up and plays beautiful harp music while releasing a flurry of bubbles in the air. And I don't care how old you are, bubbles are always beautiful and fun. It was such a magical experience. And these aren't just ordinary gifts, they're experiences. Some boxes burst with butterflies, others shower with flower petals. And the rose bubble box I got, it creates a champagne-like bubble celebration when it's opened. Plus they all come with delicious treats inside, like luxury cake donuts and a faux champagne bottle. Sweet. The best part is everything comes ready to go. No assembly required. Because I don't know about y'all, I don't be reading instructions. I just want to get it done. And they ship to all 50 states with overnight shipping available. Perfect for celebrating someone who lives far away. Just use my code DrNina for 10% off your order at syndicate.com. The link is in the description. And remember, showing love to anyone in your life doesn't just have to be on Mother's Day. These special gifts work for birthdays, anniversaries, or just because. Sometimes the most meaningful moments come from unexpected celebrations. Okay, y'all, never have a baby because it's time. There's no universal timeline that works for everyone. I met my husband at 35, married at 38, and our baby came at 40. This was my timeline. Some of my friends had kids at various ages, even as young as 22 or even younger, but that was their timing. Others are in their 40s and child-free by choice. and go off with your bad self. The truth that nobody tells you, when you have a baby solely because you feel your biological clock ticking, you risk resenting both yourself and your child. Parenthood deserves more meaningful consideration. You got to think about this. And it's way more than just checking off your life's to-do list. And y'all, you got to be prepared for the unexpected. This was something I learned firsthand through my birthing experience. I ended up having an emergency C-section. Everything went well and smooth through my pregnancy, but this came up at the end as if nothing. So this changed my recovery and even my parenting experience at first. My husband and our mothers had to step in big time while I was healing. But my incredible husband, Sean, he was the real MVP, handling late night calls and countless responsibilities. And he did this for a very long time during my recovery. Without this support system stepping up, especially when that unexpected situation happened, I honestly don't know how I would have managed. And y'all, even with the best planning, birth and early parenthood rarely go as expected. And you need people that will show up for you even when things go sideways. And I'm telling you, you will learn. You will learn exactly who's there for you, including your partner. Never ever have a baby because you're afraid of missing out. FOMO is the worst reason to ever create a whole human being. I saw people on social media before I had a child making having kids look so fun. It just looks so cute and, standard, and everything was picture worthy. And I think at some points I thought I was missing like the fundamental human experience. But I was so happy that I had someone sit me down and tell me while she loved her 2 kids and her husband, she wished she had a lot of the freedoms that I had, that I would take it more seriously and not want for something that I might not be ready for yet. She told me that just before I turned 30, and I still treasure her for that. And this is what I wish more people knew. A lot of these people that make it look so beautiful with children, they will confess to you that they're actually having a really hard time. And that's for some of them, especially behind the scenes. The baby snuggles and the cute milestones, baby, I love them all. I love it. But also real is the identity crisis. I'm getting it back, okay? The relationship strain and even the physical toll. Like, birth is crazy. And that's why you shouldn't be doing it with everybody. You shouldn't be having babies for every and anybody, especially people who will not care about you or that child afterwards. It is such a big sacrifice, and it's definitely not something to be taken lightly. Never have a baby without understanding the financial reality. I was financially ready, or so I thought, by the time I had our little one at 40. Even with my savings and good insurance, we were looking at all these bills even after everything, and we got good insurance, do you hear me? And we were still like, how are people affording to have babies? Like, it's a little bit crazy. Even if you can afford it, you looking at it like, what is this bill? And why is there so many commas or numbers? And the bills just keep coming. I'm just gonna say it. I was still getting bills well into 6 months after Hunter was born. Okay. And then there's childcare, medical expenses, gear that they outgrow in weeks, and it adds up fast. Hard truth. Financial stress is one of the biggest strains on new parents. Before having a baby, understand what your actual childcare situation will look like. Our parents live out of town, and of course they're about to move here soon, but we didn't have a lot of immediate people to take over. Now, eventually, we did hire a full-time nanny, which we had until Hunter was almost 11 months. And she's still here and still helping us with things. Now, Hunter goes to the little daycare center with her friends. But also, that's a cost every week. And when we had a full-time nanny, it wasn't cheap. It was like a tuition. You want to run them numbers and then add 30% because you're probably underestimating. But here's something else that people don't tell you. Prepare, again, for that unexpected. A lot of the extra costs from medical can come from those unexpected emergencies. It's not like they just gonna say, we gonna forgive them because you went through it. No, you still recovering and paying the bills. So just keep that in mind. You never want to have a baby without some type of support system. And if you can, a very hefty support system. Whether it's family, friends, or paid help, you need support. The "it takes a village" saying is for a reason. As an older mom, it was a lot of people around me that were past that baby stage. And my parents are older too. Building our support network takes intentional effort. What no one admits, even the most independent people need help with a baby. The isolation of new motherhood can be crushing without support. And I'm so happy that I had so many people that jumped on a plane to come seep out that girl. If you don't have it naturally, you need to create it or budget for it. I've been incredibly blessed to have a village that has really surrounded me and still does. They bought almost everything we needed for the baby before she arrived. They helped me decorate. They helped us put things together. And y'all, we even still getting hand-me-downs for our baby. We barely had to buy clothes. The cribs, the strollers, the clothes, the toys, everything that the baby outgrows so quickly, my community passed those along and saved us thousands of dollars. And that support isn't just financial. There have been moms that I have had to cry to, not because I was sad, but just because I was in search of, trying to really figure out how I fit into this still. Like, what am I doing here? And sometimes you feel like you're not really doing everything the right way. And I'm adopted. So it's big for me to have our little baby and really want to raise her in a way that she can be proud of and that I can be proud of. Heck, not everyone has this built-in system. And that's why it's important to be very realistic about the support you'll have after such a life-changing decision. Never have a baby without discussing all the expectations and division of labor with your partner. Before our baby arrived, my husband and I had an explicit conversation about the division of labor, parenting philosophies, and how we'd maintain our relationship. Many people skip this step and then they end up shocked that their, partner had a whole different set of expectations. Don't be shocked, baby. Reality check. The mental load of parenthood falls disproportionately on the mother in most relationships. If you haven't discussed how you'll share responsibilities, resentment is going to be inevitable. Let me be brutally honest with you. Clip, okay? I could not and would not deal with a partner that was thinking that childcare was woman's work. Too many women that I knew had struggled because their men or partners thought that diaper changes, middle of the night wakings, doctor appointments, and emotional labor are primarily the woman's responsibility. This outdated thinking creates exhausted and resentful mothers who are disconnected from fathers. And those disconnected fathers, they miss out on the full parenting experience. Before having a baby, and even without asking questions, pay attention to how your partner talks about division of labor and parenting responsibilities. Do they expect you to handle most of the household tasks, even when you work the same number of hours or more? Do they joke about babysitting their own child? Those are red flags, and they typically don't get better, they get worse. A true partner sees their responsibility as equal, not as helping you with your job. Now, I never want y'all to have babies because you think it will fulfill you. I love my child more than anything, okay? But being a mother is definitely not my entire identity. Baby, I'm hot with or without a child. Okay? I'm still me with interests, ambitions, and even needs of my own. Babies do bring immense joy, but they are not responsible for your happiness or your purpose in life. And anybody telling you that's your purpose, kindly tell them to cough. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Many women feel empty after having babies, precisely because they thought that motherhood would fill a void. Something missing. Build your fulfilling life first, then decide if that child enhances your life. It is okay to be without a child. It is okay to choose it by choice. Walk in your path. I want y'all to know that motherhood can be beautiful and transformative, and I can say that as a new mother. But I'm so happy that I waited until 40. It was the right time for me. I needed to focus on me. Whatever you decide, make your own choice. Build those boundaries. Get comfortable saying no to family pressure. And remember, there's many ways to have children in your life without birthing them. If y'all found this helpful, go ahead and like, comment, and share. Subscribing is absolutely free. Okay, y'all? I'm going to see you in the next one. Beautiful brown baby doll. Peace.